Good evening again. This is Chief Meteorologist Alex Kirchner, joined by meteorologist Vicki Knappa. We're doing a little team coverage on the severe weather that we have moving through the state line as of right now. Got a couple warnings out, so we'll be taking your questions live. We'll be chatting with you about the severe situation moving through the state line as of right now. So without any further ado, let's get right to those warnings. We have them out for Winnebago County, Boone County, and Southern Rock County. So that does include Beloit, all until 8:15. 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts the threats here. So that is enough to knock down trees and power lines and things. That is the threat that we see moving out of southern Wisconsin. As you can see, a squall line here, impressive line of thunderstorms stretching essentially from Watertown, Wisconsin, all the way to Freeport at this point. And that again is moving towards Rockford, just outside of Belvedere. So Belvedere isn't in the warning, but plan on these strong storms move towards you. Cherry Valley, Roscoe, Rockton, Loves Park, McChesney Park, Beloit, and any location in between Janesville and New Milford at this point. Also, Winnebago, Pecatonica. These storms are moving in fast, about a half an hour before they arrive in the Rockford area, about 15 to 20 minutes before they arrive in Pecatonica and Winnebago if they're not there already. Again, 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts possible. That is enough to knock down tree limbs, power lines, damage roofs and sidings. So move away from those outside walls, stay away from windows because of the damage that these storms can bring. We do have tornado watches out until midnight for a lot of northern Illinois. This means the environment is capable of producing tornadoes. No warnings currently, but it's something that we have to watch very closely here as we go throughout this evening.
So right now, hi, thanks everyone for joining us and for watching. These storms, Vincent, are moving east. So almost in a straight line from west to east. The cell that's moving into Winnebago County, moving at 40 miles per hour, which is at a good clip, which means they're moving quickly. They're bringing those heavy wind gusts. So that also means you only have a few minutes to respond for those spots that are under a warning right now. So moving east at 40 miles per hour, which means they are heading straight for Lake Michigan, which means that people sitting in downtown Rockford and then getting into Belvedere, this one cell that has a severe thunderstorm warning is on the move, is moving east towards those spots. So arriving first into the Pecatonica area, probably there already. We're starting to see some of the rain here. Starting
to hear a little thunder in Winnebago, so that's coming up very shortly here, and it may be another 10-15 minutes on top of that before it finally arrives in the Rockford area. Again, 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts. You know, that doesn't sound like a ton compared to a tornado, but it is enough to knock down trees and power lines and things. So treat this storm with respect as it zips on along.
Definitely, and we talked about, and we've mentioned it, some questions, you know, we've mentioned tornadoes, or at least the potential for them, and wanted to explain why we might have that tornado watch out and why we are talking about the threat of tornadoes. It's because we have the right environment for it. We'll see, we don't have tornado warnings right now for the state line, but we have seen tornado warnings with these storms up in Wisconsin as well as in Iowa. So we're keeping a close eye, especially on some certain cells that we've seen some radar indicated rotation still outside of our area, but we do have the right wind profile for that. So not discounting the chance tonight. We are under that tornado watch until midnight. So something just to stay vigilant about tonight.
And that wind profile is winds moving at different directions at different heights. So at the surface, they're probably out of the south, the southwest, right where the jet stream is, jet planes flying more out of the west. So that gets that spinning going, and that's why basically any location that's under that tornado watch, we'll pop that up on the map here, any location highlighted in yellow here, there's that potential for tornadoes in these storms. Again, like Vicki said, nothing ongoing right now, but there's that chance that we could see those spin on up as they continue to move off towards the east. Just again, addressing we got a little comment here from Jill that the sirens are going off in Lena, so we'll keep an eye out from the National Weather Service on any kind of indication there. In fact, as we stop the radar loop currently and zoom in, we'll keep an eye out just to see if there are any kind of additional warnings out as of right now, so thanks for that report. But you know, if the sirens are going off, that's just a good indication to make sure that you are heading to shelter as quickly as you can. You hear those sirens, you hear that weather radio, you hear about a warning, make sure that you are moving to shelter as quickly as possible. We do have a brand new warning out, by the way. We will jump back a slide here just to show you. So this new warning is for, again, Joe Davies and Stevenson County until 8:30. So again, a brand new warning out that includes Stockton as well as Freeport, Lena, Galena, as well as Rock Grove, German Valley. So this particular round of storms is moving in fairly quickly here, and as you can see, a lot of rainfall associated with this. Could see wind gusts up to about 60 miles per hour or so. So again, 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts possible out of that brand new round of warnings into Joe Davies and Stevenson County. And because we have the watch out, there is a possibility of tornadoes. Again, nothing seen on radar or confirmed with any of this, but just keep that in the back of your mind. If you're under that watch, just be aware that we could be seeing the possibility of, again, tornadoes. We're going to put on our little tornado tool here, and anytime you see greens and reds next to each other, you can hear this live. This is our weather radio going off, so that is a good indicator that, hey, we've got something that you're going to have to keep an eye out for. So make sure you have that weather radio. It's really handy to have, especially late at night. Anytime we see greens and reds right next to each other, there's a potential for rotation, but I'm not seeing anything necessarily too strong as of right now that warrants any kind of watch currently or any kind of updates, but we'll keep a close eye on all this. And see, multiple warnings out, especially right near Pecatonica. Keep an eye on that storm if you're near Pecatonica. I'll zoom in for you right now. A lot of heavy rainfall, lightning moving on through towards your location. We'll kind of keep an eye out for any rotation moving on through, but as you can see, these are pretty strong storms working on through our area right now. These will be arriving in Rockford in about 15 minutes or so. Already over Pecatonica, north of Winnebago. We'll be watching these very closely.
So just looking at what the National Weather Service is seeing, they just issued a tornado warning for Rock County, so just north of the Wisconsin border. So that's something that we've been keeping an eye on. That was kind of a nasty looking cell, and they did just put a tornado warning on that. So we're talking just over Janesville and then a little bit to the east. And then also we're keeping a close eye. They did extend and continue the warning for Winnebago and Boone counties, seeing a little bit more of an intensification. With that, I will go check on the weather radio right now.
If you're watching us in Janesville, by the way, that brand new tornado warning out, make sure that you are in shelter right now, so as low as possible, away from those outside walls and windows. Again, brand new tornado warning out for Rock County, for the Janesville area and to the east of there near Johnston. We are seeing that avoid Beloit. It's well to the north of you, but again over Janesville at this point. So as you can see, we're getting multiple warnings going on here, so treat any of these storms with respect. These details are coming in fast and furious at this point as that squall line works on through the state line. You can see that this is an intense line of storms with new warnings for Joe Davies and Stevenson counties. Rockford also under the warning as that storm is still moving towards you, and also for towards Beloit. It's going to be moving in quite soon for the Beloit area, already over Janesville, possibly some rotation in some of those storms. So again, if you're hearing us in Janesville, just make sure that you are heading to shelter very shortly here, as we are seeing some tight rotation over Janesville as of right now. So multiple warnings out across the rest of the board, basically anywhere from Stockton towards Rockford. We are looking at possibility of very strong thunderstorm winds moving, all of these storms moving to the east at about 40 miles per hour. And again, north of Pecatonica could have a very strong thunderstorm there. In fact, we have a brand new tornado warning out for Pecatonica as well as towards the Rockford area. So we're going to jump on air. Make sure you stay with us as we continue to get these late breaking details. We will be on air very shortly here, so turn on channel 13 for the very latest. All right, you will be in pod. We'll have you drive the radar.
Yep.
Just throw.
Good evening, meteorologist Vicki Knapp here, breaking into programming because the National Weather Service has issued a tornado warning for Winnebago County. So if you are in Winnebago County, this includes the Pecatonica and Rockford area. please seek shelter immediately. Again, a tornado warning has been issued from the National Weather Service. This is in effect until 7:45 p.m. We're going to send it over to Alex in the pod to take at the wall to take a closer look at this storm and what it is that we're looking at.
This particular storm near Pecatonica, moving to the east at about 40 miles per hour. You can see we've got a whole line of storms stretching from Lena towards Pecatonica, but we need to be looking at this cell right here near Pecatonica. Again, radar indicated threat, at least at this point. This warning extends just to the north of Winnebago towards Burritt, Durand, as well as McChesney Park, Love Park, and Rockford. Again, tornado warning out until 8 p.m. for all of Winnebago County, mainly seeing a radar indicated threat here. When we get a chance, we'll show you what the one little spot we are seeing here. This storm is continuing to move to the east at about 40 miles per hour. We'll put on our radar tool when we get a chance to kind of show you where we're watching for that rotation. So tight spinning storm could be producing or capable of producing a tornado again north of Pecatonica heading towards Burritt. Vicky's pulling on that radar tool here, and what we watch for is anytime these greens and reds are right next to each other, winds moving away and towards the radar. When we get these close in this vicinity, this means we could be seeing rotation tight enough to produce a tornado that is just outside of Pecatonica as of right now, north of Highway 20, moving to the east at about 40 miles per hour or so. Also seeing possibly a little rotation to the northwest of Burritt, so right along Highway 70 here, something to watch as well. So in these locations, Burritt, Pecatonica, if you're not already in your basement or your storm shelter, you need to be there as of right now, because that's where we're seeing that rotation. Right now, a new radar scan south of Durand, heading right along Highway 70. That's where we're seeing that very tight couplet on the radar. So again, north of Pecatonica, heading towards Burritt at this point, right along Highway 70 or so. So seek shelter as of right now. Lowest possible area in your house, away from the walls, away from the windows. Get as low as possible. Again, this warning out until 8 p.m. It's mainly to the north of Highway 20, right along Highway 70 as of this point, but it's heading towards Rockford. So if you're in Rockford, the Parks, Roscoe, Rockton, make sure that you are heading to shelter currently, because this storm will be on top of you before you know it. So watch out for that as of right now. Again, heading towards Sherland and south of Durand, right along Highway 70 is where we're seeing that possible rotation as of right now. Thanks for that, Vicky, popping that on the map currently. That is the one spot we are watching in this storm. Also seeing some bright spots to the north of Highway 72. So just make sure that you are keeping a very close eye on this if you're in between Pecatonica and Durand as of right now, moving to the east at about 40 miles per hour. Vicki, any updates at all when it comes to this severe weather situation from the National Weather Service?
The National Weather Service is telling us that this is a radar indicated tornado warning, meaning that they are seeing that rotation on the radar as well that we are keeping a close eye on. Again, this is a tornado warning issued by the National Weather Service, and it remains in effect until 8:15 later this evening. This includes Winnebago County. So for those of you in Pecatonica and then downtown Rockford, please seek shelter immediately. This is an ongoing threat. We are going to continue to monitor the situation. The storm is moving east at 50 miles per hour. Then on top of that, we could see 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, as well as hail up to a quarter in size. Again, this is a tornado warning that remains in effect until 8 p.m. So let's take a quick look back at the radar as the latest scans are coming in, and we'll send it back to Alex here for the latest update on the radar.
And if we could just zoom out very briefly here, just wanted to show the multiple warnings that we have out. In addition to this, severe thunderstorm warnings in Joe Davies, Stevenson, Rockford, and into Winnebago County, as well as south of Janesville. Janesville, in fact, has a warning out too. So if you're in Janesville, make sure that you are in shelter. That's a tornado warning near Janesville. This extends all the way towards Boone County as at this point. So severe thunderstorm warnings along this whole stretch, 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts. It's enough to knock down trees and power lines. And then we have that tornado warning out just to the south of Durand along Highway 70 north of Pecatonica. That is a tornado warning extending all the way way to the Winnebago-Boone County line, including Rockford, McChesney Park, as you can see here, until 8 p.m. So this is moving fast at about 50 miles per hour. That's close to highway speed, and this one little spot of the storm right here is where we're watching for that possible rotation to kind of give a landmark on this. Again, last scan had it right along Highway 70 or so, but as that continues to move, it might be closer towards Sherland at this point, so this is heading more to the northeast. Overall, a pretty broad rotation in all of this, but this is one little spot that we're keeping close eye on here. So if you're in Sherland right now, just make sure that you are in that safe spot. Get as low as possible away from any exterior walls as well as the windows and things. So this will continue to head to the east as we progress over the next half an hour or so. This is mainly north of Highway 20, so the warning extends just to Highway 20, so Winnebago itself is just outside of the warning, as you can see. But anywhere north of Highway 20 in Winnebago County, make sure that you are in that storm shelter, in that safe spot. Get there immediately because this storm is moving fast. So if we could bring the radar tool back on one more time, I just want to take a very large look at this entire complex just to see if there are any hot spots we're watching out for very quickly here. Right around Sherland, there's a possible couplet. Also seeing possibly a stronger set of rotation. If that's what it looks like to me, at least, Vicki, heading towards Route 2 as of this point. So this one spot right there just looks like it could be bringing in possibly some strong rotation anytime those greens and reds pop up next to each other. Brand new scan out there. Currently near Pecatonica could be seeing some issues. So overall, these storms may have these brief spin-ups that produce some rotation and things. So we will watch this very, very closely as we go throughout the next half hour as these storms continue to progress on through. Sounds like we're getting a few new updates from the National Weather Service, so I'll toss it back to Vicki very quickly in case we have any updates. Vicki?
Thanks, Alex. We're also seeing with this thunderstorm cell in the Winnebago area, we are seeing now the reports of hail up to approaching a golf ball in size. So this is damaging hail, so be sure that you are away from windows in the most central location of your building and also on the lowest level of the building, because we do have that chance for hail. These storms are growing vertically, meaning that they are capable of producing those larger, severe type size hail. Again, this is moving to the east at 50 miles per hour, which means it will be approaching the downtown Rockford area. Right now we're seeing the rotation just northeast of Pecatonica, but as this continues to move east, we're keeping an eye on broad rotation with this cell. So not confirmed yet, but that tornado warning will continue until later this evening, until 8:15 p.m. We're now seeing reports from Durand coming in, a trained spotter for the National Weather Service reporting hail a ½ inch in size. But again, we could see hail that's up to a golf ball in size, which is over an inch, which does constitute as severe for hail. As we take a look at the radar one more time, this continues to move east at 50 miles per hour. We're looking at heavy rainfall as well as the potential for hail. We're pulling up our tornado scope here to look for any rotation with this cell. Still keeping an eye on right along Highway 70 for the potential for some rotation right just southwest of Beirut, and that could be some rotation that we're seeing, broad scale rotation on the radar. Also keeping a close eye on the Sherland area. So again, this is for Winnebago County, extending all the way east towards the eastern edge of the area. We're going to continue to see stronger storms throughout the evening, and we're going to keep a close eye on this. Alex, want to take another look at the radar?
Yeah, something that's catching in my eye as of right now, if we take the radar tool off, I mean, granted, right along Highway 70, that's the one spot, so that little kink in the radar there, that is the one spot that we could be seeing some possible tight rotation. So again, along Highway 70 near Burritt, north of US 20. The one thing that's catching my eye too is north of Burritt here. See those purples popping up on the map? This is where we could be seeing that large golf ball sized hail. So this is south of Sherland, and we'll continue to see this track closer towards Loves Park and McChesney Park over the next 20 minutes or so. Vicki pulled up just a cross-section of all of this, and what we saw very briefly there is those purples extending straight up to the top of the thunderstorm. We see that. That is a good indication that we've got that very large updraft that could bring this particular hail all the way, or at least generating hail, and that's heading towards Owen Center and Roscoe here, about 8:35 arriving in Roscoe. Again, possibly golf ball-sized hail. That is enough to damage windows and cars storms and things. We saw that just a couple weeks ago. Could have that threat work on through again. That particular thunderstorm cell did produce possibly an updraft that was shooting that hail or those raindrops all the way up to about 50,000 feet. So Vicki's also tracking that potential rotation to the northeast, arriving at about 825 in Loves Park. Rock cut, for reference, at about 845. So that was the one spot near Highway 20 where we saw some tightening of the rotation on the radar. We're going to continue to see that move to the northeast at about 40 to 50 miles per hour. And you can see some of the tracks here as that continues to move along. Any updates, Vicki, at all?
We're still just continuing with the tornado warning for the area. Also, a matter of multiple severe thunderstorm warnings still across the area. So here's a look at our downtown sky cam for Rockford, as this area is going to see this more intense thunderstorm move into the area within the next few minutes. We're seeing a lot of lightning associated with this, also dark skies, and again that potential for some broad area rotation to be moving into the downtown Rockford area here shortly. So if you are in Rockford, if you are watching in Winnebago, seek shelter immediately, get to your safe place, because there is a tornado warning in effect until 8:15 p.m.
And what this looks like to me right now is the leading edge of these thunderstorms. So that kind of ominous, really dark area underneath what could be like a little shelf moving in. Again, that is that leading edge of the storms, probably this section right here. That means those 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts are not too far away if we're seeing a fixture of that. So let's kind of just reiterate, if you're just joining us right now, it's kind of hard to see, but we have a tornado warning. See these dark reds here? Tornado warning for Winnebago County extended until 8:15, and moving to the east at about 40 to 50 miles per hour. You can see 8 o'clock, in fact, to all of Winnebago County underneath that tornado warning. And the last time we spotted some sort of tight rotation was along Highway 70 to the southeast of Burritt, heading towards Route 2 and Loves Park. Kind of losing sight of that stronger rotation out there, but those bright greens show to me that there may be some very strong wind gusts coming out of this particular storm. So even if it's not producing a tornado, it still could produce damaging wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour or so. So we'll continue to kind of keep an eye out for any tight rotation. It looks like a brighter color, a little couplet popping up closer towards Loves Park at this point. Not anything too conducive out there, but it just shows that we have little spin-ups like this very tight rotation that's occasionally popping up on radar, keeping that warning out as of this point. As we look at past the loop here, you can see that warning extends all the way over towards the Winnebago-Boone County line to the east at about 40 to 50 miles per hour. So you can kind of hear it right here at WREX. We're getting some very heavy rainfall as of right now, possibly some hail as that works on through. And it's that one spot north of Burritt, that purple, that where you could see that golf ball-sized hail warned by the National Weather Service. Vicki's tracking that currently. It's moving to the northeast, heading towards Roscoe by about 8:40. And we are seeing that other area work towards Loves Park within the next half an hour or so, where that possible rotation is. But treat that like it is a tornado on the ground. Even though we're just seeing signs of rotation on the radar, make sure that you keep an eye on that currently. So here is that ominous view in downtown Rockford. This is our live sky cam as these storms work on in, seeing possibly a shelf cloud in there, which means it's on the leading edge of that squall line working through, those dark colors indicating very heavy rainfall and hail possibly on the way. Lots of lightning on that sky cam, so that a scary looking view means that if you're looking at it right now, you should be looking at it on TV, not out your window. Be in your shelter, your safe spot downtown Rockford and the rest of Loves Park, McChesney Park towards Cherry Valley. Be getting to that spot as of right now because you're under a tornado warning, you're under that severe thunderstorm warning, which means 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts, large hail, and that possibility that at any point this thunderstorm could spin up and produce a tornado. Right north of Burritt and Highway 70 is where I'm at least seeing indications of very large hail, lots of heavy rainfall, and again, we're getting those very strong winds, possibly gusting up to 60 miles per hour or so. And that is, again, tracking to the northeast towards Roscoe within the next 15 or so minutes, or in fact, the next hour or so. So we'll keep a very close eye on all of this as it works on through. Starting to hear, at least on our chat service with the National Weather Service, a couple other bulletins, anything being passed along. In fact, we're getting a new warning as of right now. I'll step off and check that. Vicki, you want to update our viewers on the current situation?
Absolutely. That new warning that just came in was a severe thunderstorm warning, an updated severe thunderstorm warning. This includes Boone County as well as Ogle County and then moving into DeKalb County. This was just issued by the National Weather Service. This extends until 9 p.m. this evening. This does relate to the storm that we have been keeping a close eye on. This new warning will extend for Boone County as well as into Ogle County. This now goes until 9 p.m. We're now looking at the potential for wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour as well as $half sized hail. Again, this is a severe thunderstorm warning for Boone County as well as Ogle County and into DeKalb County and southern Winnebago County. This is for the severe thunderstorm right now to the west of Roscoe and Loves Park as well as in Rockford that we have been tracking under this tornado warning. As this moves east at 50 miles per hour, we're going to see that severe thunderstorm warning continue to extend to the east. So as we're looking at timing for some of this to arrive, here's a look at some of the darkest area of rainfall, also potential for hail right now north of Burritt. We're seeing this move to the east, which means it could be arriving in Roscoe by 8:43 p.m. So just within the next 45 minutes, these storms are moving to the east at 50 miles per hour. Also seeing another spot that could produce hail as well as heavy rain moving east towards the Poplar Grove area. Will take a bit to get there, but reaching McChesney Park within the next 20 minutes. Rock Cut State Park then by 8:40. We're also seeing heavy rain just to the northwest of Rockford in the downtown Rockford area. Here's another area as we track this out to the east as these storms are moving east, looking to arrive in Loves Park by 8:25. Again, Rock Cut State Park looking to see some of the heaviest of activity arriving by 8:45. So we continue to have this tornado warning in effect for Winnebago County. This does extend for the next couple of minutes until 8 p.m., but otherwise a new severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for the southern portions of Winnebago County, including Boone County as well as northern Ogle County. So we'll take a little bit more of an overview look here at what's going on and what the situation is. Multiple warnings in effect for the state line. Alex, you want to take it away?
Yeah, just to set the scene here, by the way, if any of you aren't under the warning as of right now or seeing those storms quite yet, so this is near Monroe, Genoa, Marengo, Belvedere. These storms are bringing some very heavy rainfalls, possibly some small hail, some very strong winds. So we are getting that right now in downtown Rockford, or will shortly here. You can see that very ominous view off to the distance, lots of lightning, and those bluish gray spots behind those kind of scary looking clouds that are hanging down. That is a wall of rain working on through. So not quite in downtown Rockford yet, but it is moving in shortly. Again, could get some very strong winds out of this. So in fact, want to pop me on over top of this, I can kind of show you where we're seeing some very heavy rainfall as of right now. It's in this one spot right here to the kind of off in the distance is where I'm seeing a very heavy rain shaft kind of working on in. So just a couple indications of very strong rain and heavy winds working on in. There we go. You can see that we've got this dark gray area here. That means a torrential downpour is off in the distance. So that is a lot of rain that's kind of obscuring everything. And then this kind of ominous looking area here is that rain and wind moving towards downtown Rockford. So scary kind of sight out there, lots of lightning. And again, if you're watching this out your window, you should be in your storm shelter, not kind of observing this storm, because these are dangerous storms working on through, looking at indications of very strong winds and things. So overall, that'll be into Rockford within the next couple minutes. McChesney Park, not too long after that, about 15 minutes, heading through Rock Cut State Park at about 8:30. We'll continue to track this to the east, and Caledonia arriving at about 8:45. Where we are at the TV studio, lots of rain hammering us as of right now, so hopefully you still have our picture and you're getting us over the air. We also make sure that we'll keep the updates flowing on other sources as well. So this storm is moving fairly fast, bringing with it a lot of heavy rainfall, about to hit McChesney Park as of right now. Rockford not quite getting the brunt of it when it comes to that heavy rain, but it is definitely on the way. Could get some hail in the mix there. Losing indications, at least on the radar, of any rather large hail. We're losing those purples out there, but for a brief while north of Burritt and south of Sherland, possibility of golf ball sized hail. And as we kind of zoom out here, just want to show you, at least on the radar, that tornado warning has expired, but we're still looking at severe thunderstorm warnings. So we still need to treat these storms with a lot of respect because they're capable of knocking down tree limbs and power lines and things. So again, 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts possible out of these. So if you're in downtown Rockford right now, Poplar Grove, as well as Cherry Valley near Winnebago and into northern DeKalb County, Belvedere. If you heard your name mentioned in some of these locations or you live near there, make sure that you are treating this as a severe thunderstorm, as you should, away from windows, lowest level as possible, and even get to the basement if you need to avoid any kind of thunderstorm wind damage that might occur as these strong winds work on through. You can continue to see that we have a lot of heavy rainfall working on in with this, so we have to keep an eye out for any kind of flash flooding with this. Any indications of any kind of damage or anything like that out there, Vicki, as of right now? In fact, as she's moving over, I want to address this very briefly. Tornado warnings extend all the way to the Wisconsin, Illinois, and Iowa borders. We have to keep an eye on these cells here. They're not in our area yet, but they have been holding together for a while. So if you're near Galena, could be seeing a tornado quite soon here, possibly the next half an hour, as these storms have had a history producing tornadoes. So this is the next round that we're keeping an eye on, while we still have this current round, the squall line working through, kind of hammering our location with heavy rainfall as well as wind and hail out there, and a lot of lightning. Again, warnings extending into Boone County, McHenry County, and northern DeKalb County over the next half an hour to 45 minutes or so. So that should be arriving right now in downtown Rockford when it comes to the intense storms. You can see that, yes, we are getting that very heavy rain activity hitting our Skycam. Lots of lightning out there. So there's the scene as it starts to rumble on through downtown Rockford.
And Alex, the latest updates, it is now past 8 p.m. The tornado warning has expired for Winnebago County, not extending Winnebago County tornado warning at this time, but we still are under a severe thunderstorm warning for Winnebago counties as well as moving to the east. Plenty of heavy rainfall as well as lots of lightning right now. If you are in downtown Rockford, here is a live look. Dark skies, heavy rain, as well as that lightning. So we're going to continue to see the threat for heavy downpours as well as some localized flooding with these storms as they continue to move east through the area, followed by more storms later this evening. We'll zoom in on the heaviest of rainfall right now in the Winnebago County area. Moving into downtown Rockford, we're seeing plenty of heavy rainfall. And as this moves to the east, we're going to see plenty of rain continue to fall throughout the area. So as we track this, storms are moving east, still at 50 miles per hour. We're looking for them to arrive in Argyle and Cherry Valley within the next 20 to 25 minutes, then into Timberland by 8:45, and then Belvedere by 8:53. The good news with these storms is we're seeing the darkest cells and signatures of potential large hail, as well as rotation weakening with the storm, but still treat this storm with respect, still under a severe thunderstorm warning, as this is bringing heavy downpours all across Winnebago County, now crossing into Boone County as well. So again, severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for all across the state line. We're going to get even closer here. For those of you in downtown Rockford, exactly what we're seeing, heavy rainfall. Couple inches of rain falling per hour as these storms continue to move east. We're also going to see the chance for a lot of heavy rain and heavy wind gusts as well, gusts up to 60 miles per hour possible. This severe thunderstorm warning does continue for Winnebago County until 8:15 p.m. So stay away from windows, stay in the most central location of your home or shelter. Then as we look at Boone County, this heaviest rain is set to arrive to your area in the next few minutes. So we'll take a look at this for you as we track this cell out to the east. Again, moving at 50 miles per hour, then bringing the chance on top of that for 60 mile per hour wind gusts. We are going to see lots of heavy rain as well as lightning with these storms. Again, the tornado warning has been allowed to expire, but we continue to stay under severe thunderstorm warning for Winnebago County, Boone County, into McHenry County, and Ogle County as well. Alex, you want to take another look?
So overall, this is just a classic squall line at this point. So that means a lot of wind and a lot of rainfall. Again, could see wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour and very heavy rain. So we could possibly see up to 2 inches of rainfall in a short amount of time. No guarantees it will have that amount, but that's how much moisture is in the atmosphere. That's what we were tracking all afternoon, was that high humidity, keeping the moisture levels high, and that just fuels these storms. So could see, again, up to about 2 inches of rainfall in a short amount of time. Heaviest rainfall looks to be over Owen as well as Winnebago right now, heading towards Rockford. Poplar Grove about to be hit by that very heavy rain. You can see severe thunderstorm warnings extended until 9 p.m. towards DeKalb as well as McHenry and Boone counties and into southern Winnebago County. So Belvedere, you're not quite there yet, but you have that heavy rain as well as those strong winds heading towards you. So be aware of that. McChesney Park getting the worst of it as of right now with that very heavy rain. Downtown Rockford as well. Continue to see that off to the southern end of this particular storm. You can see Poplar Grove probably arriving even sooner than that when it comes to the tracking. So just be ready for that very heavy rain and wind to move on through. If we could clear this out for a second, I just noticed something on the latest radar scan. South side of Rockford, that purple just popped up, and that is a good indication of possibly either very torrential rainfall or some large hail. So again, this looks like south of Business 20, right south of downtown Rockford. If we can zoom in a little further than that, right near Route 2, heading towards 251. Again, this is an indication that we could see some very large hail in all of this. So if you're not already away from the windows, you need to be there as of right now. Again, this is mostly to the southern end of downtown, moving to the east at a very good clip. So this is going to move through downtown and possibly into areas just south of State Street here. So that last scan on the radar showing possibly some very large hail moving just to the south of downtown Rockford and then progressing to the east from there, something that caught my eye. And if this isn't hail, this is very, very heavy rainfall, so we have to keep a very close eye out for any kind of flash flooding, in addition to just all the rain on top of that. If you see water over the roads, by the way, avoid that. Do not drive into any kind of water-covered road because you don't know how deep that water could be and your vehicle could float off the road. So again, just keeping an eye on south of downtown Rockford, possibly some very large hail popping up there on the radar, in addition to small hail maybe embedded in here from Rockford all the way up to Loves Park towards the Roscoe area. Those darker colors indicate either one of two things: torrential rainfall or small hail out of all of this. So those are the dangers that we have as of right now. We're starting to see that storm leave the Winnebago area. Same for Burritt. It's heading towards Cherry Valley as well as Belvedere will be there very shortly here. So make sure that you plan ahead for that as those strong winds and heavy rainfall are on the way. In fact, if we kind of zoom over into Cherry Valley as well as towards Belvedere, even kind of show all of Boone County, that is the next spots that will be hit by this squall line, this very intense line of storms. Poplar Grove about to be hit by some very heavy rainfall and possibly strong winds. Not quite to Belvedere yet, but you're probably seeing a very ominous view as those storms approach you. Be ready for 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts as well as hail up to an inch in size. That's about a golf ball in size. Not seeing any indications of that on radar. Those darker colors, by the way, but probably be just a wall of wind and rain heading towards you over the next 20 to 30 minutes or so. So if you're not already in that storm shelter, which means just away from the outside walls and windows, get there as soon as possible.
Alex, if I may jump in here.
Go right ahead.
Talking with the National Weather Service, and they're concerned for this specific cell that we're talking about moving into Cherry Valley and then followed by Belvedere. Right now, our main concern, along with the very heavy rain, is for strong wind gusts. Severe winds would be the primary threat, capable of taking down trees and moving things around. So that's what we're looking at. The broad level rotation, we're still keeping an eye on this cell right now, a severe thunderstorm warning in effect. But as this cell continues to move east towards Cherry Valley and then into Belvedere, this is what we'll be keeping an eye on here for you folks, because right now we're concerned about the chance for severe wind gusts as well as that torrential rainfall. Looking to arrive in Cherry Valley by 8:30, so about another 20 minutes. So get to your safe place, stay away from windows with those strong, severe wind gusts. Those can cause damage and cause things to blow around outside. So that's why we ask you to stay away from the windows. Then looking to arrive in Belvedere by 9 p.m. The severe thunderstorm warning does extend until that far, and we'll keep you posted as the cell continues to move east. Again, it's moving east at 50 miles per hour, or about as fast as a car goes on the highway. So they're moving quickly, meaning you don't have as much time to react to that storm moving into your area. And this indication of purple either means one of two things, either very heavy rainfall or the potential for hail. Could see hail up to a golf ball in size, which is over an inch in diameter. That again can cause damage to cars as well as small structures. So we're taking this as a severe thunderstorm warning. It is in effect for Winnebago County, Boone County, and extending into McHenry and DeKalb as well, for the potential for severe thunderstorm winds as the primary threat, with this cell specifically just south of Rockford. Back to you at the wall, Alex.
Sure. Quick programming note. Now that these storms are starting to progress out of Rockford, we're going to begin to wrap up our coverage on air. But if we do see any new warnings and things, we'll jump back on quite soon here. We're going to have a live feed going on our Facebook page, WREX TV. So if you want to continue to see the coverage, that will extend that right as soon as we're done here on air to our Facebook page. But again, we'll jump back on air periodically here to do periodic cut-ins as long as we have new warnings and things to talk about that. So join us on our Facebook here. We'll continue to have a live stream going on these storms as they continue to progress on through. And keep in mind, if you're not going to join us on Facebook, that these warnings go out until 9. So Boone County, northern DeKalb County, make sure you're staying in your shelter. And again, if we see anything that we need to update you on, we will break back into programming. So have a good rest of your evening. Stay safe out there. Join us on our Facebook page shortly here for a live chat on these storms. And stay tuned for any new updates as they progress.
Hi everybody, welcome. We are going to continue to keep you updated here on Facebook as the severe threat continues to unfold throughout the evening. Meteorologist Vicki Knapp here with the 13 Weather Authority, also in tonight, Chief Meteorologist Alex Kirchner. So let's take a look at the situation currently across the area. We continue to have severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for the northernmost counties of Illinois. This includes both Joe Davies, Stevenson County, Winnebago County, and then into Boone and even McHenry counties, and also clipping the northern corner of Ogle County as well as DeKalb. Right now there is a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for the downtown Rockford area and Winnebago County. Also saw a new warning issued that does extend further into the evening after 8:15 p.m. A new warning issued that will continue until 9 p.m. later this evening as this continues to move east towards the lake. They're moving east at about 50 miles per hour, so moving quickly. So that's why that severe thunderstorm warning has now been extended and shifted. That includes Boone County, DeKalb County, McHenry County, and Winnebago County. So Winnebago County not quite out of the woods yet, still seeing plenty of heavy rainfall. And then just to note, we are keeping a close eye over in Iowa, right at the edge between Iowa, Wisconsin, and Illinois. Still some tornado warnings in effect with some cells. So as those continue to progress east, we'll keep a close eye on them for exactly how they're behaving, and if they maintain that threat into our area, we'll of course keep you posted and let you know. So let's take a look at the radar right now. This is what we're seeing all across the state line. Plenty of activity right now centered right along the Illinois-Wisconsin border, with those orange severe thunderstorm warnings in effect laying underneath that radar picture. So let's take a closer look at exactly what we're seeing. We were keeping a very close eye on Winnebago County for a tornado warning that did expire at 8 p.m. So no longer a tornado warning, but still treat this storm with respect. We're seeing ample amounts of rainfall falling in downtown Rockford. If we could actually take a live look at our downtown sky cam right now, what's going on in downtown Rockford. Dark skies, plenty of rain. We've also seen a lot of lightning with these storms. Also a concern for tonight, on top of the heavy rainfall, is for severe thunderstorm wind gusts. Now, wind gusts is something to really pay attention to because that can cause damage to structures. So that's why we ask you to stay away from your windows, even though that tornado warning has expired. We can also continue to see, on top of heavy rain and those severe thunderstorm winds, we could also be seeing hail tonight, up to a golf ball in size. So that's over an inch in diameter. That is considered severe hail because it can cause damage to cars as well as some structures. So we're keeping an eye on the heaviest of rainfall and that chance for hail, looking to move just east out of the downtown Rockford area at the moment. Right now, just to the east of Rockford, just southeast of McChesney Park, but this is moving towards I-39, I-90, right at the junction with Cherry Valley. So Cherry Valley, you're next in the list. If you are in Cherry Valley right now, please seek shelter. The strongest of this cell is moving towards you within the next few minutes. This dark purple area means one of two things. We're either talking torrential downpours, heavy rain, or the potential for hail with this storm. So we're going to take a slice of this storm to see what it looks like. The more they grow vertically, the better chance that we have for larger hail to develop. Those raindrops actually need to get thrown way up into the atmosphere to freeze and then come back down. So we're not seeing the best environment right now with this cell, at least, for the potential for hail, large hail, but we're still seeing plenty of heavy rain inside of this storm.
Yeah,
what do you think,
as I
Alex?
look at this storm, you can see how we've got those purple colors going all the way up to about 30,000 feet. So that's pretty high. I mean, that's getting up to...
It's ample enough to create
cruising
hail.
altitude almost for airplanes and things, but we would almost need to have it a little higher than that. So I'm wondering if we might get some small hail out of this. You can kind of see how it makes this loop pattern here, which is probably the updraft going up and then having that very heavy rain or that hail kind of come on down here towards Cherry Valley. But I would like to think if we could just get that updraft a little higher, that'd be a better indication for hail as of this point. But right now, it might just be a lot of very heavy rainfall and some small hail mixed on in. Haven't had too many reports. In fact, one just kind of came on in from the Roscoe area through the National Weather Service. Pea-sized hail, so a quarter-inch, but no reports so far to Cherry Valley. But if you're in Cherry Valley or near Belvedere, make sure that you are getting to that safe location as quickly as possible because we continue to see the possibility of these storms producing some very large hail, so very, very soon here. I'll take a couple of questions from some of you out there. Someone asking about, Julie's asking about Crystal Lake in the path of these storms. Eventually they will be moving on through Crystal Lake. This is going to be late tonight, so that is still well off to the west of you as of right now, but it is moving on in soon here, so keep an eye out for that. Keith is saying of extremely heavy rainfall where he is at as of right now. And Kathy saying downpour rain since 6:30 in Lena, so a couple hours for you. As we really zoom out, you can kind of see that multiple locations are just getting hit over and over with very heavy rainfall. So no flash flood warnings out as of right now, but we'll watch these very, very closely here to see if we continue to have conditions conducive for any kind of flash flooding. So if you do see any water on the roads, just avoid that as much as you can and find a different route.
Bethany, we're going to take a closer look here at Belvedere because right now there is not a tornado warning in effect. There is a severe thunderstorm warning in effect, but we're keeping a close eye on the potential for some rotation starting just to the southwest of Belvedere. So keeping a close eye here, you can see our scope. We're looking for a signature of that red and green to be meeting each other, or what we call a couplet, which would indicate the potential for rotation. So again, no thunderstorm or tornado warning, in effect right now, but we're going to continue to keep a close eye on that cell for the next couple of minutes as we're starting to see what we would consider signatures for the beginning of some rotation that would need to tighten in order for us to potentially see a tornado and put up a warning. But we'll keep you posted. Certainly something to take seriously if you're in Cherry Valley and Belvedere, the storm arriving in the next few minutes, and we just got a tornado warning issued for this area. So for the cell moving east from Cherry Valley, just south of Belvedere and just north of Genoa and Kirkland, there is a tornado warning in effect. So stick with us. We're going to continue to keep our Facebook Live up, and we are going to break into programming to give everyone the latest information on this tornado warning that was just issued for Boone and DeKalb County, southern Boone County, just south of Belvedere. There is a tornado warning until 8:45 p.m. later this evening, so that's another 25 minutes. This is issued by the National Weather Service, so stick with us. We're going to continue our Facebook Live as we cut into programming in a few moments. Good evening. 13 Weather Authority meteorologist Vicki Knapp here. We're breaking into programming because the National Weather Service has just issued a tornado warning for Boone County and DeKalb County that extends until 8:45 p.m. We're keeping a close eye on this cell for the potential for rotation to start to tighten with this cell. So with that, we're going to send it to Alex and we're going to take a closer look at exactly what's going on this evening.
So again, to reiterate, the National Weather Service has issued that tornado warning until 8:45 for areas of Boone County and DeKalb County, near Belvedere, near I-90 at this point. Warning is mostly south of Belvedere, so if you're in Belvedere yourself, treat this with a lot of caution. You may as well just head to that storm shelter right now, immediately. It means the lowest level of your house, away from the outside walls and windows and things. But again, that warning mostly showing up to the south of you, heading into northern DeKalb County towards Genoa as of this point. Warning out until 8:45. As we zoom in here, it's basically right along I-90 and then heading south from there towards Kingston. So away from Belvedere, but it's just outside of Cherry Valley. Starting to see that tight rotation pop up on the radar. So this is a radar indicated threat. No tornado reported as of right now, but if we see this is winds moving away and towards the radar, these greens and reds. We get these in that swirling pattern. That's an indication that that rotation is starting to spin on up. We're getting that radar data to kind of go in on itself rather than staying split. So the result is right here, south of I-90 is where we're seeing possibly some strong rotation on the radar, indicating that there could be a tornado threat here at any second. So if you are near Belvedere and heading towards Kingston, Genoa, make sure that you're getting to your safe location immediately. In fact, if we could show some of the safety tips that we usually want to make sure that we're stressing when it comes to this kind of severe weather information, mostly just low and inside as much as possible. You can see that here. We have a radar indicated threat, so get below ground as much as you can, or the lowest room away from windows. So closets, into your bathroom if necessary, as long as that doesn't have any windows. Those pipes in the walls can help out a lot. To jump in the tub if necessary. If you're in a mobile home, get out of that and seek shelter immediately. If you have time, and you don't have much time, so if you're not heading there now, head there very, very shortly, immediately here. Grab some bikes, helmets, as well as some blankets on the way. Just make sure you're protecting yourself. And again, this threat is south of I-90, heading towards Kingston and Genoa, just south of Belvedere. If we go back to the radar, we can kind of show you that one area right here. That's where the warning is, south of I-90. And we have that progressing away from Kirkland, but towards Genoa, towards Kingston, and just south of Garden Prairie, so basically south of I-90, but there's some spots of Belvedere that are just south of I-90, including right around the Chrysler plant. So just make sure that you are staying away from this storm as much as you can and get down below to that storm shelter as quickly as possible. If you're in a mobile home, get out of that as soon as possible. Pretty tight rotation popping up on the radar. Again, we have the greens and the reds, which indicate winds moving away and towards the radar. We get those together in this kind of shape. It's a couplet. That means we've got swirling winds and possibly strong enough rotation to produce a tornado. This is, again, south of Belvedere. Brand new slide, and you can see that couplet shows up a lot better. Bright reds next to a lot of very green color here. So that is a pretty good indication that that rotation has strengthened even further. Again, south of I-90, heading away from Belvedere, but towards Colvin Park, towards Spring, towards Kingston, right along I-90 and south of there, just to the northeast, as you can see, of Irene. So this is south of Belvedere proper, but if you're in Belvedere, just make sure that you are still in that storm shelter in case anything else heads your way. This is the one spot, as you can see right here, south of I-90 that we're watching very closely. This warning goes out for another 25 minutes for Boone and DeKalb counties heading towards the Kingston area. So we'll monitor this storm very closely. And in general, we still have severe thunderstorm warnings out. So if you're not under that tornado warning in southern Boone County, northern DeKalb County, still warnings out for large swaths of Boone County and into even northern Ogle County near Monroe. 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts, very heavy rainfall, and possibly at times large hail up to a golf ball in size tracking towards you. So this is moving out of Rockford, out of Roscoe, out of McChesney Park. I know some of you on our Facebook page or watching our live stream, you're wondering, are we okay? You have those warnings moving away from you. You'll still get plenty of some heavy rainfall. In fact, we've got a brand new warning out there. We'll go to Vicki in just a second. It looks like a brand new warning popped on up, likely I'd assume a flash flood warning. Vicki, is that what the National Weather Service is saying?
Correct. We're just now getting a flash flood warning for Winnebago and Boone County issued by the National Weather Service. This goes in effect until 2:30 tomorrow morning for the chance for flash flooding. We saw a lot of heavy rainfall in these areas. So again, that flash flood warning is for Boone County in north central Illinois and as well as Winnebago County for all of the heavy rain that we just saw pass through the area in the last few moments. Just a reminder, if you see flooding on roads, turn around. Do not try to drive through flooded roads. We're going to take a quick look at just some of the safety of what to do during a flash flood warning. Again, this is going to extend until early tomorrow morning. So this means that rapid flooding is occurring with several inches of rain. We just saw all of that heavy rain come through the area. So again, a flash flood warning issued by the National Weather Service for Winnebago and Boone counties. We're going to see the potential for flooded streets, so move to high ground. This could continue to pool and flood areas as we go throughout the evening because we'll continue to see rain fall through the area. Please do not drive through flooded roads. Find another route. Turn around. We're going to go back to this tornado warning that is in effect for Boone County, with it arriving in Kingston potentially within the next few minutes. We're going to zoom in closely here. Again, tornado warnings go off in the entire county, but we're keeping a close eye just south of Belvedere and just south of I-90 for the potential for a tornado. We're looking at a tornado warning that extends for the next 20 minutes across the area. Alex, you ready? We'll take a closer look at the radar and this threat as it continues to move to the east.
So again, this tornado warning was issued by the National Weather Service not that long ago. Extends until 8:45, so another 20 minutes. This is south of I-90, but heading towards Colvin Park as well as Kingston. And we could probably even get some golf ball-sized hail in some of these cells, too. So this is moving away from Belvedere, but overall, a pretty good kink in the radar. You can see that swirl going on right now. Eventually, we'll get that radar tool up on there to show you that where that possible rotation is. Might be a little off to the northeast, it looks like, Vicky, closer towards I-90 as of this point. We'll continue to watch this area right here very closely because we're getting those reds and greens to meet. Bright colors next to each other like this indicate strong rotation on that radar, so that's what we're tracking. Anywhere those bright colors meet in our on the radar, right along I-90 at this point, so that's just to the south of Belvedere heading towards Spring. That's where we're seeing that kind of swirl, that kink in the radar. So if you're right along I-90, you're near the Spring area, if you're not in shelter right now, make sure you're getting there as quickly as possible, as low as possible, away from outside walls and windows. If you're in a mobile home, evacuate that immediately. Brand new scan on the radar showing again, we got that pretty tight swirl going on in the velocity, which just indicates that strong rotation popping up on radar. No indications yet or reports yet of anything on the ground, but treat this like a tornado is advancing across the ground because at any given point, that strong rotation can swirl up and produce a tornado. That's why we have that danger out there. In addition to that, these thunderstorms producing 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts and torrential rainfall and some flash flooding going on across Winnebago County. So we'll keep a very close eye on this one spot on the storm right here. Again, south of I-90, south of US 20, heading towards Spring and Colvin Park, as well as Kingston. Those are the spots under the warning as of this point until 8:45, so another 20 minutes or so. That warning is now moving out away from Belvedere. I wouldn't get out of shelter yet, but keep a close eye on the storm. Stay with us for updates as this continues to move on. You're probably hearing a lot of very heavy rain, and like we saw in some other spots, that torrential rainfall could produce flooding. So if you're out driving later, you may see water on the roads. Do not drive into that. If we zoom out, you can, in fact, right before we do that, Irene, to the north of Irene, there's that possibility of some golf ball-sized hail popping up on the radar here. So in amongst the wind and the rain and that possible tornado danger, we still have the hail threat as well. Zooming out, you can see that we're still looking at a lot of very heavy rainfall working through Winnebago County towards Rockford at this point, and then into northern Boone County. Poplar Grove could be seeing a lot of very heavy rain, and that flash flood warning is out for a lot of northern Winnebago County, including Pecatonica, basically north of US 20, into Rockford, Park, McChesney Park, Roscoe Rockton, south of Beloit. That's where we're seeing potentially some flooding. If it's not going on right now, could very shortly because of all the very heavy rain working on through. Inches worth of rain coming down in a short amount of time, so avoid any water over the roads. And where we have basically all the red popping up on the radar is that heavy rainfall. That is a good indication that there could be some severe thunderstorm activity in amongst all of that. So 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts out there. So that is a recap of everything that's going on currently. We'll go back to that tornado warning. Again, this is south of Belvedere heading towards Spring near Kingston as of this point. Strong rotation, kind of broad at this point on the radar. So it's not that tight intersection of green and red that we usually want when it comes to a good, clear indication of a tornado. But we have that broad enough rotation where these colors are starting to mix enough that it's an indication to us that we are looking at something that could produce a tornado in any second here. So we'll make sure that if you're in Spring, if you're in Kingston, Genoa, you are getting to that safe location as quickly as possible. Areas along I-90 as well are going to be impacted by this very strong thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado over the next 20 minutes. Again, that warning out until 8:45.
And Alex, for that very specific location that you were just mentioning, right at that border between Boone and DeKalb counties, we are seeing 70+ mile-per-hour winds pushing through that area. So as this storm continues to move to the east, again, right in this corner, right at the border between Boone County as well as McHenry and into DeKalb County. This is where we're seeing already reports of 70+ mile-per-hour winds pushing through the area. So some very strong wind gusts right now, not confirming a tornado, but those wind gusts themselves, especially straight line winds, can cause plenty of damage as well. So continue to stay in your safe place. This tornado warning continues until 8:45 p.m. for southern Boone County. Again, if you're south of Belvedere, stay in your safe place, but this tornado warning is for south of I-90. It's a little bit tough to see the red outline for this, but as the storm continues to move east, we're going to keep an eye on the rotation with this storm and the potential for those strong wind gusts upwards of 70 miles per hour and above. So as we continue to keep an eye on the rotation for this storm, still seeing a very good signature on the radar. So as you're in these areas, keep an eye on this storm. Again, stay in your safe place. We could see a tornado potentially pop up at any moment. Alex, back to you.
It's right near Spring as of this point, moving to the east, and you see this kind of hook shape or this bow shape to the radar. Good indication that we could have those very strong winds moving towards Marengo as well as Riley and Highway 23 as of this point. So anytime we see that kind of backwards C shape in the radar signature, it's an indication that the winds are really starting to push this storm outwards. So 60 to 70 mile an hour wind gusts possible towards Marengo as well as Riley. So that is enough to definitely damage trees, power lines, be ready for a lot of wind to work on through and knock things down. So treat this like a tornado. Get away from those outside walls and windows where we're seeing that possibility of 70 mile an hour wind gusts, because that is enough, again, to knock things down, damage roofs and sidings and things on your house. So move away from those outside walls, move away from those windows, because that is where we could see that threat for very strong wind gusts. Turning back our attention towards that tornado warning, we still have that out until 8:45, another 15 minutes. Spring, Calvin Park, both spots could be seeing either very strong winds or that potential tornado. In fact, that tight rotation where you see those colors swirling are now past Interstate 90 as of this point, heading towards Riley and Marengo. So that warning possibly advancing into McHenry County as of this point. We'll keep an eye out for the National Weather Service to see if they extend that anywhere else. But that at least is an indication on our radar or by our eye here, our trained eye, that when we have these swirling colors, winds moving away and towards the radar, we get those to start to swirl together. That's a good indication that those winds are spinning, resulting in some rotation. So the one spot to watch very closely here, Riley towards Marengo as well as right along Interstate 90. The one spot that was looking decent for a couplet here. If we zoom out a little further, we can kind of get a scope of the whole storm, and not much else, at least indicated on radar, that looks as good as that one spot near Riley as well as Genoa. But overall, treat that warning with respect for another 15 minutes or so. We'll continue to keep a very close eye on this particular storm as it moves along. Again, could produce winds up to 70 miles per hour. So even just beyond the tornado threat, we have that very strong storm that could produce damage with just the wind gusts alone, those straight line winds moving on through.
So again, this tornado warning is in effect until 8:45 p.m. The severe thunderstorm warning for Boone, McHenry, and DeKalb counties does extend beyond that until 9 p.m. for the chance for the damaging wind gusts as well as the potential for a tornado with that rotation. I also want to turn the attention to Winnebago County, where we're seeing reports of flooding. So this flash flood warning is in effect for Winnebago County, already seeing reports of 4 to 6 inches of water covering roadways, as well as flooding observed near North Alita, near North Runyard. So for those of you in Winnebago County, especially north of Rockford up to the state line, there is a flash flood warning in effect. So for those of you in that area, just a reminder, if you see flooded roads, please turn around. Do not drive through flooded roads. We could continue to see water pool as we go through the rest of the evening. Move to higher ground. Again, turn around. Do not drive through a flooded road. We'll continue to see that flash flood warning does extend until 2 a.m. tomorrow morning. It takes a good long while for that water to recede out of the area, so rapid flooding is possible after all of that heavy rain, and we'll continue to see heavy rain across the area as we do continue to see a lot of rain activity as well as those ongoing warnings across the state line. So Alex, I'll send it back to you.
One warning that looks like they got extended into Joe Davies County. By the way, a quick little look at what's going on in downtown Rockford as of right now. The heaviest of the rain is moving on out, but we still have at least some decent rain showers working on through. So here's a live look on our Winter World Sky Cam of the activity again moving on through Rockford as of right now. There is one warning that has been extended now, a tornado warning extended into Joe Davies as well as Carroll County. So this is near Savannah. These particular storms have had a history of producing tornadoes, so we'll have to watch those very closely here. Again, a brand new warning issued by the National Weather Service as that continues to track towards Bellevue as well as Stockton. You can see Carroll and Joe Davies County under a warning until 9:15. So if you're in those locations, again, Joe Davies County, Carroll County, 9:15 is when that warning is expected to expire. So these storms aren't by you yet. They're still over Iowa, near Moketka, but they will continue to track to the northeast, heading towards US 20 as well as Savannah, outside of Stockton. Have had a history of producing tornadoes, so treat this storm with absolute respect. Make sure that you keep an eye on that as it continues to work to the northeast, heading towards Stockton at about 9:30. Or so a little ways away from us, but keep in mind that tornado warned storm is moving towards you over the next 40 to 50 minutes, so be ready to take action very soon here and get to that safe location. Again, a brand new warning issued by the National Weather Service, a tornado warning for Joe Davies and Carroll counties. We continue to see plenty of severe thunderstorm and flash flood warnings out across the rest of the state line as we watch this kind of move on towards the east. We'll go back very briefly towards that severe thunderstorm, tornado warned storm into southern Boone County as of right now. This is heading towards DeKalb County as of this point. The warning out for another 10 minutes or so, so we'll keep an eye on this. It heads towards Kingston and Genoa as of this point. This was a radar indicated threat, so that meant that there wasn't a tornado necessarily spotted, but that rotation was strong enough to warrant a warning out there. Right now, looking at a very broad rotation, nothing very significant on the radar as of right now. So I think overall, now we're starting to see that threat diminish some. We will jump back on and let you know if we do see any new spin-ups, any stronger areas of rotation as that warning continues to be in effect or if a new warning is issued. But we're going to wrap up our coverage as of right now on these particular storms. We will be live on Facebook, though, WREX TV, so join us for that live stream as we continue to chat about all of these storms and the multiple warnings that we have on out. If we do see anything else threatened, we'll make sure we jump on air and interrupt broadcasting to talk about those storms. So stay with us throughout the remainder of this evening and definitely join us tonight at 10 for a recap on all these storms and anything moving forward from there. So again, this concludes our interruption of programming with any new severe thunderstorm warnings and tornado warnings. Join us on Facebook, though, for the live stream shortly.
Hi everybody, welcome back to Facebook Live. We're going to continue to keep you updated with the severe threat this evening because we still have plenty of warnings in effect all across the state line. That includes a tornado warning for southern Boone County that is in effect for the next 5 minutes. It is looking like we're seeing that rotation broaden and weaken, which is a good sign for those of you south of Belvedere. But we continue to see severe thunderstorm warnings in effect from southern Winnebago County and Boone County and extending east towards the lake as these storms do continue to push to the east. Now, also to note, we do have flash flood warnings in effect for Joe Davies counties as well as Stevenson and Winnebago County. We have had reports of 4 to 6 inches of rain on roadways. Please turn around. But as that warning continues to be in effect for the next 5 minutes here for Boone County, let's take a quick look at what we're seeing exactly on the radar and if anything has changed in the last few minutes. We're going to see more heavy rainfall falling through the area. This tornado warning is still in effect south of I-90, and this continues to move to the east, now crossing into DeKalb and McHenry counties. Again, we're pulling up our radar scope here. What we look for is a pairing of those green and red signatures to start to wrap around each other, indicating rotation. Not seeing the best signature, so it looks like that threat is diminishing. We haven't gotten any reports that that tornado warning will be extended for these areas, but if you're in Genoa right now, just east of Kirkland and into Genoa, just south of Genoa, we are going to keep a close eye on all of you for the potential for some slight rotation indicated here on the radar. But for those of you south of Belvedere and in southern Boone County, the storm continues to push east out of the area, but heavy rainfall still going to continue throughout your area for the next few minutes. We also are keeping a close eye on some storms moving in from Iowa. Alex, we're looking at this tornado warning right now over Otter Creek and Savannah, as well as a portion of Joe Davies County.
And this particular storm has had a history of producing tornadoes. We'll zoom on that very briefly here to talk about any kind of tornadic threat near there. Again, this is mostly radar indicated, but again, this has had a history of producing tornadoes, so it's a possibility as we go throughout the remainder of the evening. Not quite into Illinois yet, but it's awfully close. And as I take a quick glance at this, not seeing any very strong couplets or any kind of strong indications of rotation, but we'll definitely monitor this storm as we continue to see it progress towards Savannah as well as into Joe Davies County quite soon here. Overall, if you want to just a quick recap, we do have the warnings out all across the board. We'll recap those very briefly here. Still seeing that tornado warning for southern Boone County and northern DeKalb County, mostly a threat towards DeKalb County for the next 5 minutes or so. Severe thunderstorm warnings continue for Boone as well as southern Winnebago County until 9 p.m., and that extends all the way into northern DeKalb County. We also have flash flood warnings stretching from Stockton all the way towards Winnebago, as that'll be out until 2:30 or so in the morning because of all that rain. So multiple threats out here. We'll recap all of the safety tips that you should definitely be taking. So number one, if you're under a tornado warning, that's again sections of DeKalb County as well as into Joe Davies County, be in your storm shelter. That is the lowest level of your house, away from windows. If you're in a mobile home, get out of that as quickly as possible. If you have a severe thunderstorm warning, so this is southern Winnebago County, Boone County, northern DeKalb County, and McHenry counties until at least 9 p.m., make sure that you are also avoiding windows and try to get as low as possible because damage to roofs and power lines and tree limbs are definitely possible. They will come crashing into your house, resulting in some damage, so be away from those outside walls. Flash flooding means lots of rainfall, short amount of time. Storm sewers, streets, streams can't keep up with it. So if you see any flooded roads, do not drive into them. Even if the water doesn't look that deep, you could be floated off the road very quickly. So avoid those locations and watch small streams and rivers. Those can overflow very, very quickly. Going back to the radar, we're going to show you just exactly, or at least as an estimate, as to how much rain has fallen across the area. So again, when we're talking about flash flooding, that is a lot of rainfall. And as you can see, some spots possibly over 3 inches, closer to 5 inches of rain. That's why we have those flash flood warnings out stretching from sections of southern Wisconsin through northern Stevenson County and then towards Rockford at this point. This is over the last 12 hours or so, and that is a lot of heavy rain in a short amount of time. The National Weather Service saying some spots in northern Winnebago County up to 6 inches of rainfall this evening alone. So because of that, avoid those spots that are flooding or will be flooded soon. If you know any roads or low-lying areas that always seem to flood in these heavy rainfalls, do not drive into them. Avoid them as much as possible because, again, that could float your vehicle off the road. It only takes about 6 inches of water to float a car off the road, 2 feet to float a truck off the road. So not much water takes to kind of get you out of those locations and float you away. So be very, very careful out there with all of that. So again, to recap here, we've got multiple warnings out. We'll kind of drop them off the map and go through them one by one. You can see that we have severe thunderstorm warnings and tornado warnings out until 8:45, 9 p.m. Severe thunderstorms in orange and tornadoes in red. We'll continue to keep an eye on that one in southern Boone County. No expiration yet, but it could come at any minute. And then the flash flood warnings, as you can see, popping up on the map for northern Winnebago County through Stevenson County and into Joe Davies County. So that's kind of a recap of everything that's going on as of right now. I know that we're live on Facebook. We've been talking a lot, so now it's our turn to chat with you. If any questions, Vicki, or other viewers that need to know anything as of right now.
People are just asking how much rain so far. We've got those flash flood warnings in effect for Stevenson County as well as Winnebago County and Joe Davies. And we've seen multiple inches of rain, and we're getting reports of 4 to 6 inches of rain on roadways this evening. So that means, like you were saying, very easily can pick your car up and allow it to drift away. So here you can see already into the Freeport area, that yellow area is about 2 inches of rain that has fallen. Orange indicates 3 inches. So these storms, they move through, but they continue to bring heavy rain for over an hour, bringing that chance for that flash flooding. And those warnings, they don't expire in the next few hours. That's also the important thing to note, is that water takes a really long time to dissipate and to move out of the area. So those are going to extend all the way through tomorrow morning. So even if you're not hopping in the car in the next few minutes, even late tonight, early tomorrow morning, after all of this wraps up, that flash flood warning is going to remain in effect for the northern counties of Illinois.
So just to kind of indicate what threats might still be moving in, this squall line of storms, as you can see, remains in our area. So even though the severe thunderstorm portion of it, this part of the storm right here in the, with the orange highlights around it, that's where we're seeing severe weather. So that's where we're getting those 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts, possibly 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts, possible rotation for tornadoes. That's all headed away from us. By the way, that tornado warning looks to have expired for Boone and DeKalb counties, so that threat is over. But
take a closer look. We do have a viewer who is in Genoa, Ryan, asking if there's any rotation. Maybe we can just take a close look and see what's going on right now in Genoa.
Sure, we'll zoom in on that location in just 1 second. Hold on very tightly here. We'll get to your question just in just 1 second. Want to make sure we finish our thought when it comes to what's coming for the rest of the night. So you can see how we have those severe thunderstorms still out on the leading edge of this, but look at all that rain still following it. That's why we have flash flood warnings out, because these locations that have already been hit by a lot of rain will continue to be hit by a lot of rain for the remainder of the night. And we have that one cell still here on it's almost like the caboose on the train that has that tornado warning on it. That would be the last of these storms working on through, but it does have that tornado warning out there, so we'll have to keep a close eye on that heading into Joe Davies County. So we will zoom in very quickly here towards Genoa to make sure we answer the question of whether we're still seeing rotation. Again, the warning has expired. As we continue to zoom way in here, here's Genoa. We'll pull it on our little rotation tool, and very broad rotation, if that. So still a very strong thunderstorm. May still get wind gusts up to 60, 70 miles per hour, but not looking at any kind of tornadic activity, or at least a signature of that on the radar. So good news for Genoa. Again, that warning has expired, but we're still seeing a lot of rain out there. Inches worth of rain still coming on down. So we take the radar off very briefly here. You can see those dark maroon sections. So Joe Davies, Stevenson, Winnebago County, and even into Boone County, you have flash flood warnings out. That means multiple inches of rain causing flooding to some roads and streets and things. So we will definitely make sure that you are aware of that and keep an eye on that as we go throughout the evening. And again, last line of storms working out of Iowa as of right now. So that should slowly start to wind on down, but that heavy rainfall threat lasts until about midnight or so. So it's going to take a while before the rain dries up, but the severe threat's starting to wind down a little out there.
We're going to continue for those of you sitting in Roscoe, as well as all of the counties across northern Illinois. As we move through the next few hours, we're going to continue to see very heavy rainfall. So right now we still do have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for Boone County as that line does continue to move east, and then those warnings extend all the way to Lake Michigan. But for the rest of us, we are under a flash flood warning for Joe Davies, Stevenson, and Winnebago counties. Flash flood meaning we're seeing 4 to 6 inches of rain already on the roads, and so we could see that continue to increase, and that does extend till tomorrow morning. But for those of you in Rockford, in Roscoe, in Freeport, right along the northern Illinois border, you can see on radar continuing to still see plenty of heavy rainfall coming through the area, and we're going to see this continue. It's not over quite yet. We'll keep you posted if any new warnings are issued. Right now, we are keeping a close eye on that one cell moving in from Iowa into Joe Daviess counties, because that does continue to have a tornado warning on it, has a history of tornado activity. So we're going to keep a very close eye on that. Otherwise, just continue to plan for very heavy rainfall as we continue to go through the evening. If we can take a live look in downtown Rockford, right now we're seeing still very dark skies, plenty of rain, lots of lightning. So this is how it's going to continue to look for the next couple of hours here across the state line as we move through the rest of your wet Wednesday evening. Keeping a close eye on everything, keeping you updated. We have seen reports coming out of Winnebago County of 4 to 6 inches of rain already this evening, 4 to 6 inches of rain on the roadways. So we can take a look at just how much rain has fallen across the area, because the heavy rainfall is the main concern for this evening and as we continue to move through the rest of the night. So pull this up in just a second so you guys can see just how much rain has fallen across the area. So Stevenson County and Winnebago counties having seen the most rain already here this evening. The orange section, the orange color, is 3+ inches of rain having fallen in Stevenson County north of Freeport all the way up to the Wisconsin border, and then moving east saw plenty of rain also north of Winnebago and into the northern portions of Rockford. Even some spots, these little red sections, pushing 4 inches of rain. So that's why we do have a flash flood warning in effect for Joe Daviess County as well as Stevenson and Winnebago County. We'll take a look right now at what the warnings look like across the area. So again, we've got severe thunderstorm warnings that extend from Boone County east towards the lake. As that line of storms right ahead of those storms, we still have the potential for not only hail but damaging wind gusts. And then we have flash flood warnings in effect. Those extend until tomorrow morning. So that's the important thing to note with these flash flood warnings. They don't expire in 30, 45 minutes. They extend for multiple hours because it takes a long time for that water to dissipate. Could even potentially see flooded roadways even tomorrow morning for your commute. So just a reminder, if you encounter any flooded roadways, important to not drive into them. Water can continue to rapidly increase and flood across the area, especially for those areas under that flash flood warning. Move to higher ground also if you're in those areas, or if you're in a low-lying area. And again, just a reminder, do not drive into flooded streets. So we're going to continue to keep an eye on the one thing that we're really keeping an eye on here tonight, and we're going to see exactly how it behaves as it continues to cross into Illinois. This tornado warning is in effect for the southwest corner of Joe Daviess County. This one cell right now in Bellevue has had a history of tornadic activity. That's why there's also a tornado warning still on this cell. So as it continues to move into the area, we'll keep an eye on it and see how it behaves, especially if it does hold together into Stevenson County here as we move through the rest of the evening. We are seeing plenty of reports, though, of heavy rainfall across the area, as well as we're starting to get some photos from all of you that includes hail. So that's been the threat with these storms here tonight across the state line, has been not only damaging wind gusts and that heavy rain across the area, now prompting flash flood warnings, but we've seen plenty of hail as well, looking like from some of the photos that some of you have sent in, upwards of 1 inch in diameter or more across the area. Also, some very impressive skies tonight as those storms push through. Right now we're looking at that severe threat along this Boeing edge, now moving in towards Elgin, just north of DeKalb, and crossing into Kenosha. This leading edge of the storm, anytime you see sort of that backwards C shape, that's where we look to see the potential for those severe thunderstorm winds. We saw reports from Winnebago and Boone County earlier this evening of wind gusts up to 65, even 70 miles per hour. So aside from those tornado warnings that we had earlier, severe thunderstorm winds can cause plenty of damage as well. We like to call them straight line winds. Those gusts up to 60 miles per hour, 70 miles per hour can cause plenty of damage to structures as well as cars, and then add on top of that hail. So it's certainly been a very busy evening across the area. Right now we're just, again, keeping that keeping an eye on this cell as it moves in from Iowa. This has had a history of tornadic activity moving into Savannah, not getting any updates or extensions for this tornado warning. It does remain in effect here for the next few minutes for Joe Daviess County as well as the north corner of Carroll County. This extends until 9:15 p.m. So as it continues to move to the northeast, it does extend for the next 20 or so minutes. So we'll keep you posted if that requires warning as it continues to move into the eastern half of Joe Daviess County and then eventually arriving in Stevenson County. But what's important to note is that even though some of the severe thunderstorm warnings have expired and now shifted towards the lake and out of our primary viewing area, out of downtown Rockford, we're going to continue to keep that flash flood warning in effect for inches of rain that have fallen across the area, and still seeing plenty of heavy rain. This is a current look at our radar over the last few minutes. So we're still seeing that red color is heavy rain. You can hear it on the roof of the station right now. We could take another look downtown in Rockford. You can see plenty of heavy rain as well as lightning, good lightning show across the area. So continue to stay vigilant as we move through the rest of the evening. We'll continue to keep you posted as the severe threat continues. Right now, that flash flood warning in effect for Joe Daviess, Stevenson, and Winnebago counties. The severe thunderstorm warnings that are in effect for Boone County as well as DeKalb, those are continuing to extend east towards the lake. So we'll see as those start to near the end of their warning time. That one warning for Winnebago, Boone, and northern DeKalb County originally posted till 9 p.m. So in the next 5 minutes, we could see that expiring as well. But important to note that a lot of rain has fallen tonight, as well as plenty of hail and strong wind gusts as well. So let's take a closer look. In downtown Rockford, we're still seeing plenty of heavy rain. You can see these dark red colors. So here's a look at right now. Plenty of heavy rain still falling in McChesney Park, as well as in downtown Rockford and Winnebago County. We can see, I'll throw on the lightning. It's probably going to be a bit overwhelming. Plenty of lightning strikes. So this is all of the lightning strikes that have happened in the last 30 minutes. So still treat these storms with respect as these warnings continue to be in place until 9 p.m. for southern Winnebago County, as well as Boone County, northern DeKalb County. Lots of heavy rain as well as lightning with these storms. Can still see heavy wind gusts as we go through the rest of this evening. And we're also not going to rule out the threat for hail or tornadoes as we go through the rest of the night and for the next hour or so. Again, we're keeping a close eye as we look further to the west. I'm still keeping a very close eye on this one thunderstorm as it continues to move just slightly northeast. Instead of moving directly east, we're seeing this slightly northeast. This is a tornado warning in effect for Joe Daviess County as well as Carroll County. This extends until 9:15. That's another 15 to 20 minutes. So for those of you who are watching in Joe Daviess County, we are keeping an eye on this. We'll see exactly what this looks like. We'll pull up our scope here and give you an idea of what the rotation looks like on this storm. Broad areas of rotations, we're keeping an eye on it. What we look for is a very tight twisting of that red and that green color. So as this continues, we're not seeing any extensions of this tornado warning yet, but this one specific cell has had a history of tornadic activity. But otherwise, we'll take one more look at the current warnings across the area. Again, orange is severe thunderstorm warning. That is in effect until 9 p.m., so about another 2 minutes. Keeping a close eye on that tornado warning coming out of Iowa into Joe Daviess County. We'll see if it holds together and continues to be a threat as it moves northeast and heads for Stevenson County. Flash flood warnings in effect for Joe Daviess, Stevenson, and Winnebago counties, and as well as Boone County. It's tough to see. It is underneath this orange color. There is a flash flood warning. So for those of you in those areas, just a reminder, we're getting reports of 4 to 6 inches of rain on roadways. We can continue to see that add up. We've had plenty of rain across the area. Upwards of 3 to 4 inches of rain have fallen across the counties north closest to the Wisconsin border. So we'll continue to see that chance for flash floods. Please, as a reminder, especially after this activity wraps up later tonight, even if the storms have moved out, we could still see that chance for flooded roads. It'll also be difficult because it'll be dark. So if you're driving later tonight, even into early tomorrow morning, that warning extends until 2:30 a.m., but it takes a very long time for water to recede and clear out. So anticipating a tough commute tomorrow morning with some flooded roadways. Find a different route. Be sure to turn around and don't drive through any flooded roadways because you don't know just how deep that water is. So we'll take a look at what some of your questions right now. Pamela, you're saying Monroe lines down. Are you talking about, could you please respond and let us know if you're talking about power lines and exactly where you are, and we'll pass along those messages to the National Weather Service. So we're going to continue to see heavy rain throughout the area. June is saying heavy rain in Belvedere, no electricity for over an hour. Some of those severe storms definitely capable of taking down power lines as well as tree limbs. We have had some reports of tree limbs coming down in Winnebago as well as some reports of hail.
I'm just going to jump in here very briefly. We're hearing some different scattered reports and things, over the scanners and all that of standing water on some of the roads. So just want to make sure that we emphasize this here. Stay off the roads tonight. There's a lot of heavy rainfall out of there, and it's hard to see at night, so you can't really even see like how deep that water is. And with standing water on roads, you do not want to drive into that. So just want to make sure that we emphasize this as much as possible. Stay off those roads tonight in the areas that have flash flood warnings. That extends from Galena all the way to Belvedere. So that big, wide stretch from northern Winnebago County, that's where we're seeing the flash flooding going on right now. Stay off those roads. Avoid driving. Just stay put for the time being until that water starts to recede later on tonight. So we're just keeping an eye out for what the National Weather Service as they continue to provide reports and things going on through. So far, all the severe threats are still mainly off to the southeast of us at this point, heading into DeKalb County as well as towards Chicago. Our big worry right now is that flash flooding, and just make sure you stay off of the roads as much as you can.
Claire's asking what roads. We saw reports of 4 to 6 inches of rain. We received that report from the National Weather Service a while ago. See if they gave an exact location. It was for Winnebago County, street flooding in Winnebago. So it looks like the city of Winnebago seeing reports of 4 to 6 inches of rain. We can take a look at just how much rain has fallen across the area in the last few hours, which is prompting these flash flood warnings. So here's a look at just this evening, just how much rain has fallen across the area. Good 3+ inches of rain. That's that orange color on your screen. So the heaviest of rain fell in Stevenson County as well as into the western half of Winnebago County, just north of Highway 20. So that is enough rain, and then as it continues to pool into other areas, that's where we'll continue to see the threat for flash flooding. Again, just a reminder, as Alex was saying, if you encounter flooded roadways, especially, it'll be difficult to see because it is dark outside. Do be careful, turn around, don't drive into any flooded roads because you don't know just how deep it is. And reports of 4 to 6 inches of rain is plenty to pick up your car and carry it off with that rain as well. So those warnings do extend into early tomorrow morning. It takes a long time for that water to recede out of the area. So we'll continue to monitor that. And of course, I'll be in tomorrow morning with the latest updates, possibly looking at a difficult commute with flooded roads. Also getting reports of power lines down across the area, also some tree limbs. So that will also require a lot of attention from ComEd and different services across the area to address those issues, get power restored to those who have lost it, and also make sure that any down power lines don't pose a threat to drivers in the area, and also make sure that any damage or debris is also cleared off of the roads. We'll continue to see. Kathy says Rock City has no power, so we are getting reports of power outages across the area. We did have a post on here to call 1-800-EDISON 1 at the end, so 1-800-EDISON 1 to report power outages. Then they'll be aware that they need to come to your area. So again, we've seen a good 3+ inches of rain for the northern half of Stevenson County, just north of Highway 20. So that includes areas north of Freeport and Pecatonica, as well as north of Winnebago and into Rockford. So the reports that we're getting are from Stevenson and Winnebago counties of that flooding, flooded roads already across the area. So we'll continue to see the chance for flash flooding as we go through the rest of the night. Here's one more look at where the warnings stand right now. We continue to see those flash flood warnings extend all the way from the Iowa-Illinois border all the way through Boone County. Those extend till tomorrow morning. Still keeping an eye on this tornado warning just off to our west. That does extend into Joe Daviess County. It is in effect until 9:15, so another 10 minutes. We'll continue to keep an eye on this cell. No updates have been given, no extensions of this tornado warning. And then for those of you in Boone County, that severe thunderstorm warning has expired, but moving east towards the lake, those of you north of DeKalb and into McHenry County, just south of Woodstock, keeping a severe thunderstorm warning all the way through Libertyville towards Lake Michigan as that line of storms continues to push east. So those severe thunderstorm warnings are on this system because right along the leading edge of it, we see that sort of backward C shape right here as that storm pushes into Kenosha, into Libertyville, is just north of Elgin. That shape, that leading edge is where we have a good chance for those severe thunderstorm winds. Already getting reports tonight of 60 plus mile per hour winds, even up to 65, 70 miles per hour. So those winds themselves can be damaging to structures and also blow debris around. So we did have a couple tornado warnings for Winnebago and Boone counties earlier this evening, but even those winds, especially ahead of those leading edge of storms, are what we can see cause damage across the area. So that's why the severe thunderstorm warning remains in effect for areas east of north central Illinois, extending to Lake Michigan because of that threat for those strong wind gusts. We've also seen plenty of hail tonight as well. Thank you for all of those who have sent in pictures. Continue to send us any pictures that you had. We got some impressive pictures of not only hail, but also the sky as it moved through, because we did have some good shelf clouds push through the area. So we're continuing to monitor this. Right now, no active severe thunderstorm or tornado warnings for Stevenson, Winnebago, Boone counties, but we're still seeing plenty of rainfall in those areas. So we'll continue to see those rain totals increase here because this rain activity is not over, at least for the next hour. It's going to continue to fall across the area. You're seeing on satellite and radar, those orange and red areas indicates heavy rain. Excuse me, have to cough. So we're going to continue to see that heavy rain pass through the area. That's why that flash flood warning is in effect for the northernmost counties of Illinois. Still keeping an eye on that tornado warning as it moves into Joe Daviess County, but we're not getting any new updates on that as that continues to push east.
So we'll just recap this very briefly here so that way you know exactly what's going on. Again, we've had multiple warnings out all evening across much of northern Illinois. Severe thunderstorm warnings have moved out for the most part. Northern DeKalb County and southern McHenry County still seeing a warning until 9:30. We're keeping a very close eye on that warned storm moving towards Joe Daviess County and Carroll counties. That is a tornado warning that we're watching very closely here. Another 8 minutes or so on that warning right now. May see that expire, so we'll watch that very closely. And then all the areas in maroon, that is a flash flood warning out until 2:30 in the morning. Multiple inches of rainfall. That is related to flooded roads and streets, standing water in some spots. Do not drive into any of those locations, and that extends from Joe Daviess County near Galena all the way through Belvedere into Boone County. So that whole stretch you see in maroon there, that is where we're seeing flash flooding going on as of right now. So avoid any streams, any rivers that may overflow, and any roads that happen to have water on them. Do not drive into them, especially at night here. You can't see how deep that water is, so avoid that situation as much as you can. Just stay put. That is the best advice to take as we head into the late overnight hours. So we'll keep an eye on any kind of questions and comments that you may have all throughout the rest of this evening. Make sure you join us tonight at 13 News at 10. We'll have the latest on the storms and any recaps that we have with the severe weather that did move through earlier on today. So tune in for the latest on this. If we do have any other warnings and advisories to pass along to you, we'll definitely jump back in here on Facebook and chat with you live. So thanks for joining us as we go throughout the remainder of this night, and thanks for staying tuned and staying updated on the severe weather information that we have out there. And again, if we do see anything, we'll jump back on. So stay safe And in fact, we'll go just for a couple minutes longer on this as we continue to get more information out here. So we'll watch this very closely here because we continue to have flash flood warnings out. So flash flooding is the predominant threat as of right now. And then we'll continue to keep a close eye on this. Vicky's got more of your comments and questions to go with as of right now.
Okay, good evening, everyone. We're continuing to see you bring in reports of down power lines across the area as we continue to see heavy rainfall falling throughout the area. The flash flood warnings do continue for Joe Davies, Stevenson, Winnebago, and Boone counties. Severe thunderstorm warnings are now to our east, pushing towards Lake Michigan. We're going to continue to see and keep an eye on that tornado warning, though it's in effect for the next 5 minutes into the southern portions of Joe Davies County. So let's take a look one more time at the radar at what we're seeing tonight. Because even though the severe thunderstorm warnings and even tornado warnings expired for Stevenson, Winnebago, and Boone counties, we're still seeing ample heavy rainfall across the area. And this will continue for the next hour, two, adding to those rain totals. We're already pushing 4 inches of rain in some spots, and we'll continue to see that rain add up as we go through the rest of the evening. Taking a look at your questions. Continuing to see heavy rainfall reported throughout our areas.
I'm going to jump in here very briefly, Vicki. So with all of this heavy rainfall, it is interrupting our usually scheduled NBC programming. So what we're going to do is everybody on Facebook, you're still going to see this live stream going. Stand by for a second because we're going to have to go on air to make sure that the people on air are still seeing something as of right now. Again, we're having some technical difficulties, so we're just going to jump on and go into programming like we normally would be running right now just to talk about the weather. So hang with us, turn on channel 13 if you want, because we'll be providing this information as we continue to bring it. So good evening, this is Chief Meteorologist Alex Kirchner with a weather update for you. I'm joined by meteorologist Vicki Knapp. So right now, with all that rainfall in the area, our NBC program that usually runs during this hour is being interrupted. Just too much rain going on. So we're jumping into programming.
Perfect opportunity to give you all an update about the situation. It's continuing to bring lots of heavy rain to the area. We're seeing some of the severe thunderstorm warnings expire for north central Illinois. Those do continue out east towards the lake, but we do have flash flood warnings now in effect from the Iowa-Illinois state border all the way through Boone County, because we have had upwards of 3-4 inches of rain fall across the northernmost counties of Illinois. So again, that flash flood warning you're seeing on your screen is that maroon color is issued by the National Weather Service. It now extends all the way towards Libertyville and the lake. So again, all counties along northern Illinois under a flash flood warning until tomorrow morning. Now this heavy rainfall, this heavy water accumulation that we've seen, it takes a long time for that water to recede and to move out of the area. That's why those flash flood warnings extend until tomorrow morning. It's going to take a good long while for that water to clear out of the area and to clear up out of the roads. Already seeing reports of 4 to 6 inches of standing rain on roads. So here's just a reminder for flash flood warnings. As these continue, we could continue to see rapid flooding occurring across the state line as that rain continues to fall. We're still adding to those rain totals here tonight. We could see small streams and even rivers overflow quickly, and with 4 to 6 inches of rain on the roads, that is plenty to pick up your car and move it. We could also see that continue through tomorrow morning and through your commute as well. So we're going to continue to keep an eye on the storms as they continue tonight. Plenty of heavy rain. We're going to keep you posted across Facebook Live as we head through the rest of the evening, getting reports of ample rainfall falling. Still seeing on satellite and radar that orange and red color, still indicating plenty of heavy rain. Right now we don't have any severe thunderstorm warnings though in effect for north central Illinois, but those flash flood warnings will continue until tomorrow morning. That's the latest. We are also keeping an eye on a tornado warning that is coming out of Iowa and into Joe Davies County that could potentially expire in the next 2 minutes. We're not seeing any updates or extensions of that, but also we're seeing reports of down power lines. Just had flickering lights here in the studio, so we'll stay on air here and keep you posted as this continues to fall. We're hanging on to power right now across the area and in the station actually, but our lights are flickering. So if you don't hear me for a moment or we lose the map here for a moment, could jump back here in a moment. So Here's a broad look all across the state line. Still seeing plenty of heavy rain fall across the area. We've already seen upwards of a couple inches of rain fall in our areas. Here's a look at those rain totals already. Take a look at this. We're seeing upwards of 3 inches of rain for Stevenson County as well as into Winnebago County. That's that orange color. Then those pockets of red are 4 inches of rain having fallen just north of Highway 20 across from Freeport to Rockford. We're going up north to the Wisconsin border. So this is continuing to bring lots of heavy rainfall throughout the area. Right now, flash flood warnings in effect for the state line. Those severe thunderstorm warnings have pushed east and out of our area. We'll continue to keep you posted as the situation continues, but still plan ahead for lots of heavy rain. We are going to turn back to NBC programming now, but stay with us. We'll keep you posted on Facebook and online as well. Hi, everybody. Again, we're taking a look at the state line right now. The northernmost counties of Illinois, all the way from the Iowa-Illinois border, extending to Lake Michigan, under flash flood warnings until tomorrow morning because we've seen upwards of 3-4 inches plus rain fall across the area, but the severe thunderstorm warnings have now moved east and out of our area, and we're not seeing any other severe thunderstorm warnings or tornado warnings in the area.
So to recap, any damaging storms, they are out of our area right now. However, as you see, we have plenty of flash flood warnings out. So point of emphasis tonight, stay off the roads. Way too much water out there. Standing water reported across a lot of the northern sections of northern Illinois. If we do see any other kind of dangerous, damaging storms move in, we'll jump back on Facebook. We'll jump back into programming like we've been doing throughout the evening. So thanks a ton for sticking with us and passing along any reports, comments, questions that you have. And we'll provide any updates like this as we head into tonight, tomorrow if necessary, because there could be another round of potentially strong storms. We'll have to keep an eye out for, at least looming in the forecast. So stick with us for updates tonight at 10. Make sure to join Vicki tomorrow morning on 13 News Today.
We'll be keeping a close eye on your commute as well tomorrow morning with the potential for some still flooded roadways. Always just a good reminder, don't drive into those flooded roads. We've also had reports of down power lines, some downed limbs. So as that continues and power outages continue, just be vigilant. Don't drive over any down power lines. Allow those crews to get out and assess the damage and fix it as well.
And we'll make sure we go back through all of the comments and questions you have and try to answer pertinent ones as we go throughout the remainder of the night. So again, thanks for sticking with us. If we see anything else, we'll jump on. Have a safe and pleasant rest of your night, and make sure you tune in at 10 for a recap and what's ahead with these storms.